What's up, everybody?
Arriba.
Jorge in the hottie house.
That means her up.
Her up, shorty. Well, what we're going to talk about, man, I guess we're going to do a UFC 97 recap really quick. I mean, we're not going to recap all the fights because we just don't have time for that because we're on the stop clock.
Everyone's writing Chuck off. Everyone who saw him get hit by a stiff left hand that knocked him out. He's lost 4 of his last 5.
4 of his last 5. Last 3 by like TKO or either KO. He beat Wanderlei Silva, who's basically, I think, pretty much on the same path as Chuck, I would, say.
I think it's a sad day in MMA to see him go. Yeah. A lot of people have already said he's retired. They're just waiting on word from his camp. My opinion is until his camp says he's retired, he's not retired. Yeah. Dana White has gone as far to say is, I'll offer him a job, and not just one where he collects a paycheck, one where he'll fly around the world and be an ambassador for this and talk to legislation.
Well, I think Dana White's definitely going to go that route with Chuck Liddell because Chuck Liddell definitely helped put UFC into the mainstream. And at one time, I guess White was manager for Liddell.
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
I would have loved to see Chuck go out on top. I think it's hard for any fighter to
just basically, come to grip with like this is pretty much the end of the road,
or any athlete for that matter. Because let's face it, he's an athlete first.
I think he's fortunate, man. I mean, he's not quite 40 years old. He's had a great career. Ton of money, man. He's not walking around, I was been watching that show Thrill in Manila, and I look at like Joe Frazier, and you look at Ali, and you look at these guys that just stretch their careers a little bit too long. You don't want to be walking around like that, man. Guys had a lot of success in the octagon. I would just be done with it.
Our hats off to you. Thanks for entertaining us for all these years. And now on to the controversy of the night. For you people who sat through...
No, real quick. Can I say this real quick, too? Because I think a lot of people how does you say his name?
Whatever. Don't ask me.
Yeah, Shogun. How about that? That's safe. Anyway, I think a lot of people also have to give credit to Shogun. Yeah. Because he definitely showed up in shape. It's the best he's looked since he's been at the UFC. He obviously was in shape. He was light on his feet. He was bouncing around. We were saying that during the course of the fight, and he looked good. So you can't take away what he did during his performance either. I think a lot of people are kind of are overlooking that because of the whole Liddell going out thing. So we just wanted to say that was a good performance. I want to say at least that I thought it was a good performance by Shogun.
It was one of the better fights of the night, to be honest. I mean, let's face it. And for all you Czech Congo fans out there, could you please tell me who he's beat? Who's worth a goddamn?
Yeah.
Seriously.
People were going crazy about that.
I know, people, just because I said he can't beat Randy Couture.
Were you overly impressed with him?
He can't beat Randy Couture. He can't beat him today, and he won't beat him tomorrow. Can he beat him in 4 or 5 years? Yeah, but he ain't beating him anytime soon.
Can you see him going up against somebody like Mir? No way.
Somebody said bring on Brock Lesnar. Y'all are smoking dope.
I've got a headache now.
Anyway, on to the controversy of the night.
Controversy of the night was
that
obviously...
fight was rotten.
Yeah. It was... Now... Did you call... Okay, the fight, of course, we're talking about was the headliner, Anderson Silva versus Thales Leites. Did you think it was... Okay, there's a lot of rumors going on that fucking Anderson Silva wasn't engaging. I just know for me, if I'm a fighter and I know I'm going up against a guy who has a strong chin and has knockout power and has floored some people, I'm not going to be real aggressive.
Fuck that. Anderson Silva did the smart thing. He's trying to preserve his career and his face and any opportunity that he might have to step outside of the UFC and fight a boxer. Period.
Which in rumor has this could be Roy Jones Jr.
I mean, that dude's face looked like he went through a fucking wood chipper. So, and you know what? I'm not going to go down to the ground to try to fight that dude. And everyone says Anderson wasn't engaging. That other dude wasn't either.
No, that guy was laying back on his back. Right. I don't understand what the hype was. And you had a lot of the, people. Obviously, the event was in Canada. They were booing and stuff at J and GSP. And then GSP's a great fighter. He is an awesome fighter. He has come so freaking far.
That's disrespectful.
It is disrespectful, and I just still don't think he's just what does he have over Anderson Silva?
Who knows?
He's a better wrestler, maybe, and that's it.
And then the other thing is they think Anderson got greased up. But here's my thing.
Come on, man.
The guy had perfect opportunities on the ground at times to take advantage, and Anderson Silva even was pummeling him. Right. Then, I mean, this wasn't.
Anderson Silva walked away from that fight, and you see fights go the distance sometimes. You see 5-round fights. You see them with championship fights and everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, and there's never issues with it. Anderson Silva did engage. He did fuck the guy up. If you look at what he looked like when he left the ring, he looked jacked up. Anderson Silva looked like he was sparring.
Right.
So I don't know what much.
You guys let us know what you think about the greasing up, about Anderson Silva not engaging. Was it all him? Was it the other guy? I think it's a little bit. I think Anderson played a smart card, and the other dude literally didn't know what else to do.
I think he's so deep in his career that he's not going to take any stupid chances. I wouldn't either, man. Because I tell you what, if they can line up about with Roy Jones Jr. I mean, obviously he's got X amount of fights left, and Dana White's not going to be willing to do that. But that's a big payday.
Yeah,
because I know he's under contract. He's not getting paid that kind of money. He's going to get to fight Roy Jones Jr.
Right. Now, on to this weekend, and this weekend would be the NFL draft.
Yes.
I think the talk.
Who do you think's going out overall?
Overall, it's the kid from Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not the talk. The talk is Sanchez.
Yes.
Mark Sanchez has moved from late first round to number 4 overall, is what I've seen, to Seattle. Yeah. And they said if he doesn't go to number 4, he's going to go to.
He'll come here to DC. Yeah. Obviously everybody, obviously we're not GMs, we don't, we're not scouts and stuff like this. A lot of people are so high on Mark Sanchez. He is just one player that has just basically leapfrogged himself in this draft.
And making himself
also, the kid, the quarterback for Kansas, Freeman. He's another one that's jumped up. I mean, they're like, some people think he might go ahead of Sanchez.
Very few teams need Detroit.
Right.
For some reason, Washington needs a quarterback. That's when you.
Right.
And then the Jets. I can understand the Jets because they're, I think the Dolphins need a quarterback.
I don't know what the Redskins are doing with Sanchez. Maybe they're trying to get Sanchez, get him in camp early, dump off Campbell or Brennan in some type of package, because they've got some pretty decent depth at quarterback. They don't have the typical 6'5" rocket arm.
How many guys are 6'5" with a rocket arm?
Well, when you're building a quarterback.
Prototypical.
Right, prototypical. Yeah, let's go
Not
with that.
typical.
Correcting my shit, Shogun. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the one is like a Peyton Manning build that has like the IQ of fucking Albert Einstein. How about that one? Because that's not Jason Campbell. Whoops. But obviously that's why they're looking at Sanchez. Other big guys. Who do you think?
Another big news is Anquan Bolden. I mean, they're saying 2 teams who are in the hunt right now are my Philadelphia Eagles. I am not complaining about that one bit. And then the Ravens. But the Ravens say
the Eagles still get Beanie Wells home.
I'll be a Redskin fan. I'm not playing. I'm not taking that shit back. I
swear you to be a Redskin fan.
God if they draft Chris Beanie. But that's another one. Talking about guys who've improved their draft status.
Right.
Now Beanie Wells has looked to make it in the top 15.
Right.
So my hat's off to you. Whichever one of you teams drafts him should be shot.
Anyway, yeah, I like looking at these mock drafts. I like the fact that it's not just Kuiper now. You got the other boy, I don't know his name, so fuck it. But McShay, Tom McShay. You got Kuiper and McShay now, and there's some, there's a little. bit.
They go at it.
Yeah, and I like that, man. I think that was a good thing that they brought in.
I think Anquan Bolden has a potential to shake up the draft. I think Sanchez has a potential to shake up the draft because if he goes number 4 to the Seahawks. I mean, Crabtree then drops. So then the Raiders are licking their chops to get Crabtree.
And the Raiders will be the first person to grab them. They grab those superstars. Anyway, moving away from the draft. Actually, you know what I'll talk about really quick? Baseball, because we haven't touched on baseball. And
It started.
The
Yankees look like hot piss. Ask Ching-Min Wang. He's actually getting skipped this Friday in the rotation because they're playing the Red Sox.
But the thing is and forget the thing. It's so early in the season. The O's have all managed to get to under 500 quick.
That one didn't take long.
I was very upset. I was at the game. I was all excited. Now they're fucking up. But the big news in all of baseball has nothing to do with any of the teams or the players. It has to do with fucking Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium. They're saying that the aerodynamics or whatever.
There's already been 20 home runs. They're saying there's a wind tunnel that goes out to right field.
Yeah. Isn't that fucked up?
Dude, if I'm every left-handed free agent, big power slugger, let me come to the Yankees and DH. Do you know what your numbers are going to do?
Yeah. Now, at the same time, look at your starting rotation for Yankees pitchers.
Doo-doo!
Their ERAs are going to be shit.
Yeah, we're not. Fucking Ching-Min Wang couldn't.
Any pitcher that's fucked up. That's not a good selling point trying to bring somebody to pitch for the Yankees.
They're not selling people in the ballpark, Shorty. It's that green.
That's a good point.
Because they're bringing up more green than anyone else. You hit me for all the home runs you want. You know what? My money's guaranteed, bitch. Pay me.
Now, what about...
I'll get out there and toss up homers all day.
Well, the Yankees have managed to climb into second place behind the Toronto Blue Jays. But the most important thing is that have you looked at the LA Dodgers record?
Fuck the Dodgers.
The Mugs only lost 3 games. See, me and George made a bet, but it's early, and I won't talk shit because George will be like, it's the beginning of the season, motherfucker. Shit. 164, 162, how many games to go?
A couple months worth of games.
Anyway, NHL, you want to talk about that?
Caps are trying to make the comeback.
Penguins were doing good. Now all of a sudden the Flyers said, you know what, not too quick, bitches.
Mainly we're paying attention to the East Coast because that's where we live.
The biggest thing and the most impressive team in my opinion is the Bruins, because they're just eating up the Canadians, and meanwhile the number 1 seed in the West is 2 down. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting series, man.